If you're in engineering or design, you already know the magic of parametric modeling. I mean, you change one dimension and boom, the whole model updates. It's a revolution for sure, but it's an incomplete one. So what if we could take that same magic and apply it to your entire business? Just think about it for a second. When you make that one little geometric change, like, say, making a part thicker, your 3D model just snaps into place instantly. It's awesome. But does your cost sheet update with it? Does your project's timeline automatically adjust? Does your performance analysis recalculate on the fly? The answer, almost every time, is a big no. And this right here is the core of the problem. All the critical data that actually decides if a project is going to succeed or fail, we're talking cost, time, performance, it all gets left behind. These things stay static, manual, and totally disconnected from your design. So here's the bottom line. Conventional parametric design is incredibly powerful, but it's fundamentally incomplete. It has this huge blind spot for pretty much everything that isn't a geometric dimension, and that leads to a massively inefficient and frankly broken workflow. So let's look at what this looks like in the real world. Your design, your beautiful parametric geometry, it's living all by itself in its own little world inside your CAD software. Meanwhile, all your cost calculations, your bill of materials, your pricing logic, that's all living in a completely separate universe called Excel. So when that design changes, guess what? Someone has to manually go in and update that spreadsheet every single time. And your project timeline? Oh, that's probably buried deep in an email chain somewhere, or maybe another tool entirely. Every single piece of the project is siloed off. Nothing talks to each other automatically. It's basically organized chaos. But what if we could just smash those silos? This is where the big breakthrough comes in. It's a total shift in thinking. The idea that everything can and absolutely should be parametric. Let's ask the big question here. What if the word parameter didn't just mean length, width, and height? What if it also included things like the cost per kilogram of steel, or the target energy efficiency, or even the project delivery date? This is what we call Parametric Beyond Geometric Dimensions. It's a method where any data point that drives your project becomes a live, connected parameter. You change one thing, and I mean everything updates. The geometry, the cost, the timeline, the whole system. So you might be asking, how does this actually work? Well, it's built on 5 core principles. Let's dive into the most important ones right now. Okay, first, and this is the most important one, we have to completely redefine what a parameter is. The old way of thinking is that parameters are just for dimensions. The new way says a parameter can be any data type you can think of, a material grade, an efficiency target, a product quantity, you name it. Second, you have to establish a single source of truth. So instead of your data living in 5 different places, you create one central calculation that holds all the project's logic. This single source then drives every other system, making sure everyone is working from the exact same, up-to-the-minute information. No more version control nightmares. Now, what's really, really interesting about this next principle is how it actually changes the way engineers get to work. It enables something we like to call thinking in physics. Think about it. Traditional tools force you to constantly worry about unit conversions. Is it millimeters or inches, joules or BTUs? It's such a waste of mental energy. With a unit-aware system, you just input values as they are, and the system handles all the conversions seamlessly in the background. You get to focus on the real engineering, not the tedious arithmetic. All right, that's the theory. But what does this actually look like in the real world? How does it truly change a business? Well, let me tell you. The impact is dramatic. So let's take a manufacturing firm that makes custom pressure vessels. Before, it was taking their engineers 2 to 3 days just to generate a quote. After they implemented this method, their sales reps could generate a perfect quote on the same day with 0 calculation errors. This freed up the engineers to go work on actual, engineering problems. Or how about an e-commerce company selling custom storage racks? The old way was this huge manual quoting bottleneck. The new way, they just embed a calculator right on their website. Now the customer gets an instant quote and design, and the engineers are freed up to focus on real R&D. This completely shifts the power right into the customer's hands. And the return on investment, it can be absolutely staggering. In one real-world example, a one-time setup that took just 30 minutes ended up saving a company 158 hours of work every single month. That's a 316 times return on that initial time investment. Just wild. Now, whenever you talk about a new way of doing things, there are always going to be fair questions and, a bit of skepticism. So let's just tackle the most common objections head on. The first thing you almost always hear is, this sounds interesting, but, we already have spreadsheets that handle all our costs and calculations. And look, that's a valid point, but it misses the most important piece of the entire puzzle. Here's the hard reality. Spreadsheets are not parametric. When your CAD model changes, does your spreadsheet magically update itself? Of course not. They are fundamentally disconnected. They're a symptom of the problem, not the solution to it. So, ultimately, adopting this approach isn't really about getting a new tool. It's about embracing a whole new workflow, a completely different way of running your business. Here's the key shift in thinking. A traditional parametric tool, that only impacts designers, and it speeds up geometry changes. But a true parametric method, that impacts everyone, from sales to finance to operations. It doesn't just speed up a drawing, it speeds up everything: quotes, decisions, and company-wide innovation. For decades now, we've accepted the magic of parametric design for geometry. So my question is, why on earth should we let it stop there? The technology to connect everything already exists, so the only question left is, should your business continue to operate in those disconnected silos?